Minister, thanks to the COVID pandemic, there has been a realisation that the delivery of broadband to every home across Ireland has the potential to transform our economy, and none more so than in rural Ireland. But if this is going to happen, then we need to have a very new strategic approach to supporting our provincial towns around the country to help to encourage that type of investment. What are we doing to achieve that?
I want to thank the Deputy for his question and take the opportunity to wish him well, as he's announced he's moving to a new phase in his life. You will be, not yet hopefully for another few years, but you will be lost to politics and to this House. Deputy, you and I share a shared commitment to balanced regional enterprise growth. That is a key objective of the Government, is a key component of the recently published White Paper on Enterprise as referenced by Minister Coveney. Recognising the significant challenge businesses continue to face and to protect employment right across the country, the Government have put in place significant measures to help business in the current economic climate, all of which will favour businesses in regional towns. The temporary reduction in VAT on gas and electricity, the extension of the temporary reduction in VAT on tourism and hospitality, and the reforms of TBIS. In relation to our own department's enterprise agencies, they are all focused on regional development, on development of our regional towns. IDA in 2022 secured 127 out of 242 investments for regions across the country. And in 2020, €13 billion was invested in the Irish economy from IDA client companies in the regions across payroll, materials and services. And much of that gets spent in regional towns, including across in your own county. Enterprise Ireland have targeted 45,000 new jobs by 2024, and we've expanded the role of the LEO network. Also, through the regional enterprise programmes, €126 million is being invested in 79 regional projects across the country in the next number of years. To give you an example of one town where I visited, in Sligo, that programme is funding the creation of a new gaming academy in Strandhill and a new advanced manufacturing centre in the middle of Sligo town, both of which will attract enormously to Sligo's reputation and enhance its ability to attract investment. And one of them is a town centre development. I will, in the supplementary, go through the other government initiatives in relation to Town Centre First programme, which come from other departments.
Minister, thank you for your comments, and just in relation to the issue before us, as you know, Project Ireland 2040 set about a hub and spoke strategy, and one of those towns is the town of Athlone, which is doing very well and has effectively become the silicon heartlands of Northern Europe, with more tech jobs per capita than anywhere else in our region. However, that isn't spinning out to the other towns of Longford, Roscommon, Ballinasloe and Mullingar and Tullamore. And you've given the example of Sligo. I'll give you the example of Ballinasloe, Minister, where we have underutilised water, wastewater and utilities. We have abundance of public service land, but the IDA will not secure that additional public land for expansion into the future. Now, this is an issue I've taken up on numerous occasions here on the floor of the House with the Taoiseach. He's coming to Ballinasloe tomorrow. He's going to see the lands for himself, and I expect him to make an announcement regarding future investment on that whole campus. Thank you.
Thank you, Askin. I can't comment about the Taoiseach's plans for Ballinasloe. I know the town well. Certainly happy to work with you to secure issues, but I would point out that through the Regional Enterprise Plans programme, there are facilities and there are opportunities. It is a bottom-up approach, and I certainly would like to work with you in relation to how we can input, not just for Ballinasloe, but also for Roscommon, and in particular developing a cluster around Athlone, which you have just described, and that is a key priority that is being identified by Minister Coveney within the new enterprise plan. The clustering approach, that is the only way we will secure investment, but also secure long-term investment by leveraging the experience that is in existing towns and centres such as Athlone, and by expanding them out. When you look at the success of places like Monksland, particularly in the last 10 to 15 years, it has been transformed. I think we need to leverage that experience and leverage that experience, that enterprise experience, out to other areas around that.
Minister, look, the big difficulty is that while the IDA is achieving its target of 50% of its jobs outside Dublin, we all know that if you take the likes of Galway and Cork out of those figures, in our own region, Galway, out of those figures, they're very skewed outside of the major cities. And, you know, if you take a town, and you mentioned it, the town of Roscommon, which hasn't seen FDI investment. We have a town now, both the urban and rural area, that's completely fibred. In fact, we have 2 fibre networks now in the town of Roscommon, and yet the bottom-up approach that you talk about, Minister, on 2 occasions the local community have applied for a digital hub there to capitalise on the investment that's been put in and have been refused investment from the state in relation to that. So these towns do need a hand. They do need focused support, and that needs to be coming from the job agencies like Enterprise Ireland and the IDA as well.
Yeah, I absolutely accept that, but equally, Deputy, I could point to the success of Castlereagh in your own constituency, the fantastic story of Harmac, the fantastic work that's being underway in the Food Innovation Hub and in the Domain, being led by our colleague Pascal Fitzmaurice. You know, I want to work with towns and try and engender that kind of spirit. We have, through a fund that you're very familiar with, in which you are involved in the creation of, the RRDF fund. There's the URDF fund for bigger towns. Minister Humphreys and Minister Darragh O'Brien are leading out on those, and we have the Town Centre First project from within the Department of Housing that is funded to the tune of €500,000 to try and get initiatives going in towns right across the country. Absolutely, we have an opportunity from the National Broadband Plan to build on that, but we cannot guarantee success for every town, and that's why Minister Coveney is leading out on the regional enterprise conferences, starting, as he said, in Letterkenny, right around the country, to try and engender that sense of enterprise across every region of the country, not just in some of them.